What's good, Shellatron here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a bow braid biscuit with you. That Rashard Breeland pickup was nice, but I want Mo. Matter of fact, I need Mo. So we gotta start thinking about making sure we can make that secondary even better than it already is with Rashard Breeland, with James Bradbury, with Kurt Coleman, Mike Adams. We need at least one more piece. We need one more piece to make this puzzle whole. And right now, it's looking like we're going to have to choose between either Tre Boston or Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. Now, when I was first considering all this, I was thinking, Tre Boston was with us his first 3 years in the league, so he should know the defense already, and it shouldn't be too hard to transition him back and get him into the flow of the game quickly. But then I started remembering how he played and looking up a few stats, and I kind of started getting second thoughts. 30 stats up for me one time. His first year in the league, he had 26 tackles, 1 interception, and a touchdown. That's not bad. His second year, he had 29 tackles, and that's about it. Third year in the league, 53 tackles, and 2 INTs. That's cool. That's not terrible, but, those are decent numbers. Then he goes, he doesn't really go. Then he gets put on the Chargers, and he goes and has a 79 tackle, 5 interception year. That's pretty dang good. That's really good. Honestly, that's probably better, if I remember correctly, that's probably better than any of our DBs did this year. But the question remains, why did the Chargers let him go? See, I have a problem. My thing is, when I see one thing from someone for a few years, and then I see a huge change in a contract year, that tells me something. And maybe I'm wrong by thinking that. Maybe I'm wrong to say, they're only playing hard in a contract year. But then I started remembering more things about Tre when he was in Carolina, and it seemed like he was a good player who played pretty decent coverage, but he would try to go for big hits a lot, and sometimes he'd miss tackles, trying to lay the wood every single play, and he'd miss tackles or go for arm tackles, and it just wouldn't really translate in the flow of the game, which is why he didn't have a ton of tackles. You saw his numbers go up by 26 in 1 year, and his INTs go up by 3. I mean, that's not nothing. That's not nothing. And you have to play better in contract years. That's a given. But I don't like seeing such a sharp incline, in your contract year. So that's a little bit weird for me. So then I started looking at Tyrann Mathieu. And the first thing you have to note about the Honey Badger is he's 5'9", which puts him at an extremely big disadvantage against a lot of these bigger receivers. But he runs a 4.5 40. And looking at his stats, he seems to be a dog that plays consistently well. He's been in the league for 5 years now? Put these stats up for me. In the league 5 years, his rookie season, he had 68 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, went down to 38, 1 interception, 89, and then 5 interceptions, and a touchdown in his third year. I mean, he's not actually all that consistent. It looks like he plays, it's pretty back and forth. I'm not all that sure if he had injury years. I think he may have gotten injured one of these years. I'm not sure. All I know is last year, he had pretty comparable stats to Tre Boston. 78 tackles, a sack, 2 INTs. So, Tre had 3 more INTs than him. But I just feel like Tyrann Mathieu plays with a little more fire than Tre Boston. And maybe even a little bit more consistently. Like, the stats don't really line up to, the eye test and the in-game, what you see in the game from these two players. The Cards offered him $9 million, and it's looking like he's not going to be going for anything less than 10. And how are we going to make the room for Tyrann Mathieu if it's going to cost us $10 million? Because we have a limited amount of cap space right now. We don't really have a lot of wiggle room to play with and be able to pay these big contracts. But it looks like if we cut Ryan, the bad one, cut Fozzie Whitaker, that's already $10 million cap space. That's already $10 million. And if we think about even getting rid of Mike Adams, which I like Mike Adams, but he's 36. And let's not forget who it was in that Saints game, not the first two we lost, the last one, the one that actually mattered, in the fourth quarter, who caught that interception on fourth down to bring the ball 20 yards further from the end zone? Now, let's be real. Even though he dropped the ball kind of late, if the refs had called that an incomplete pass, would anyone have really complained? Of course not. And was he the reason that we lost that game? Not really, because, I mean, did our O-line block anyone that last possession? Not really. Could the refs have called a defensive pass interference on that last play to Fozzie Whitaker? Not Fozzie Whitaker, but to Devin Funchess? Of course they could. The man was hurt and he got hacked. But, so what? I can't put that whole loss on Mike Adams, but he's getting up there in age. We got to start thinking about, rotating the guard. We got to make sure we have something for the future. And Tyrann Mathieu's 25 years old. That's fresh young blood back there. Energetic. He's trying to prove himself. I think he'd be a really good addition to the defense. And we have Thomas Davis Sr. probably going to retire very soon, maybe after this year. We have the good Khalil about to retire. And we also have Julius Peppers, the ageless wonder, probably going to retire after this season as well. So that's $5 million, and then I think that's $16 million off the books with TD and Khalil. So that's looking like at least $20 million that we're going to have in cap space for next year. If we don't, barring, contracts getting up next year and all that kind of stuff. So we could probably even backload Tyrann Mathieu's contract with bonuses in later years. Pick him up this year for I don't know, man. We probably could do the 10 mil. We probably could do 10 mil this year, or do 7 with bonuses, or just really easy kind of incentives for him to hit, and get him that way. Because I really like the way Tyrann Mathieu plays. For a smaller DB, he really does play with intensity, and I really think he'd be a much better fit for our defense than Tre Boston. Look, I love Tre Boston. Do I love Tre Boston? I don't know. He's 6'1", and I like height. I really do like height for DBs, because it's not just about going over the top. Everyone likes height to go over the top. It's like you can defend that big bomb, that back shoulder fade. But I also like height for those in-breaking routes, because I like my defenders to be able to reach across the body without pass interference, reach across the body and get around and smack the ball that's coming in. That's the biggest thing for me. Those inside routes, especially for safeties, especially for linebackers as well. But having that wingspan to be able to come inside and get the ball on those inside routes is very important, for me at least. For me. But the speed and just having that dog out there, I really like seeing Tyrann Mathieu out there, and him being so young and being so intense. That could really be maybe a cultural thing for us that we can really build on in the future. But keep it real, I'm going to say something right now that I haven't said in a minute. I trust our front office. That Bashaud Breeland pickup and a few of the moves we've been making this early in the offseason have me kind of convinced that our front office might know what they're doing this year. They might have a clue about what they're doing this year. So I trust them. I actually trust the moves they're going to make. So whatever we see happening, we'll see if we get Tyrann Mathieu, we get Tre Boston, maybe we get someone else. I'm not really sure, but I like to see Tyrann Mathieu come out there and really start to change the intensity in the secondary. But what do y'all think? Who do y'all think we should get? First of all, who do y'all think is better between the Honey Badger and Tre Boston? And would it be worth it to bring in a smaller DB and teach him our defense, or bring in someone who's more familiar and just came off a big year for a team? Actually, both these guys' teams don't really have a culture of winning. Cards are just really old, and the Chargers could be a really good team. They just find ways to lose games in very creative ways. It's kind of sad, actually. So, and this could be the first year that we go back to back. I know I said in my last video I wasn't gonna try to jinx it, but look, I'm trying to get these winning seasons. I'm trying to string them together. I'm trying to go back to back to back. You feel me? But yeah, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. You already know to do that like button. You can hit this button here to subscribe. You can hit this button over here to watch more videos. I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming for y'all soon. Namaste. Back before you know it.